you going to use my AWS today?
I don't need much. If one or two things I might require, but it's fine. I think you guys can also explore it yourself. Your cluster is down right now, right? It's not up.
No, because
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
want
Only one or
you want
two
me to open
things.
it up?
Yeah. So I'm not going to
Okay.
enable it in the clusters, but yes, I will just give you the theoretical points, and if required, if you feel like you want to enable it in your clusters, I can guide you for that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So far we discussed about all the services, and starting from HDFS, YARN, and then we discussed about Hive, HBase, Spark,
Mhm.
right? And within Hive, Impala. So all these are, like, we call it a Hadoop stack, and
Mhm.
right from the start of storage to execution over it, we discussed all the components. Now, let's say you already have a production environment, everything is set up, data is also there, but
Mhm.
we may have situations wherein some disaster occur in a particular location, right? And the servers goes down, and data is no longer available. So how do we recover from such situations, right? So for that, not just in
Mhm.
Hadoop or any service, for any database, we always plan to have a backup situation, and also a disaster recovery environment.
Mhm.
So in our case, we just want to back up our HDFS components because our complete data is handled by HDFS, right? And we might want to back up some metadata when it's come to Hive, HBase, all those components which are having a separate, metadata over the HDFS. So we might want to back up that too. But since let's talk about Hive. So Hive stores its metadata inside a backend RDBMS database, right? So we might create a copy of such a database in a different location. So let's say if we have some servers in Phoenix, we are talking of physical servers here. So let's say we have some servers in Phoenix, and we have a cluster created out of them, and we also have an instance of RDBMS in one of the servers in Phoenix. So we might want to create similar environment in some other location, let's say New York, so that if something goes wrong in Phoenix, we can still transition our users to use similar environment which is present in New York. Similarly, we can create an instance for a copy of the RDBMS to handle the metadata. Same is the case with HDFS or the complete Hadoop. We can create a similar cluster. So the cluster that we created, we can have a similar cluster in some other environment. Although we are doing it over AWS. So in terms of AWS, if I talk, we have regions in AWS, right? So we have different regions.
Mhm.
We have US region, Europe regions, and within regions we have different availability zones and stuff. Sorry, we have different availability zones, and within them we have different regions. Okay, we have a similar cluster in some other region or some other availability zone, that if for somehow the AWS service does not respond in particular region, do different cluster. So for all these cases, we have something called as a disaster recovery strategy. Okay. What does it mean? That we have,
Are you writing anything? I cannot see anything though.
I have shared my screen. Cannot see that?
No.
Okay. Can you see now?
No, yeah, I can see now.
Okay. Okay. So we're talking about disaster recovery of Hadoop components, or we will say it cluster itself. So what does it mean? First of all, is that we should have an identical cluster, and when I say identical, the configurations, service roles and components, and data and metadata should be identical in both the environments. And the DR cluster, so we call it DR, we call it a prod DR combination, where prod stands for the production and DR stands for disaster recovery. The prod DR combination should be on different environments. Okay, so in terms of, let's say if we are talking of physical server, the data centers should be in different locations. And if we are talking about cloud environments, like the one we use all the time, such as AWS, servers should be in different regions. Okay, and we should have a data replication strategy from production through the disaster recovery cluster. So we have we should have some strategies which are in place which will copy. Let's say you can copy the data every day, or if you want similar environment all the time, you can instantaneously copy the data from your production to DR. So you should have such strategies or such jobs always in place. Mostly, what we use for copying data between clusters, to copy HDFS data from one cluster to other, we use something called as a DistCp. So when it comes to manually copying, if you want to manually copy some data, there's a very simple command: Hadoop DistCp. Then this will be our source cluster, followed by our destination cluster. So if I want to give an example, let's say my destination cluster has a name service, or okay, so I'll simply write Hadoop DistCp. Now let's say my source cluster has a name service as production. Okay, so the complete path of the HDFS location will become HDFS:// production is my name service, followed by, let's say I want to copy all the data present in user Hive warehouse, which is my data related to the internal Hive tables, right? So I want to copy this to my destination cluster. Let's call its name service as disaster recovery, and I want to copy the same in the same location. Okay, so this way I can copy all my data from my source cluster, production cluster, to my destination disaster recovery environment. So this CP is used internally even when you are scheduling all these jobs. So if you want to copy your complete cluster data, we might have to schedule something like a DistCp. And I think in Cloudera we already have a disaster recovery environment wherein we can set it up, and it will keep on copying certain data files at a scheduled interval of time. Okay, so we don't need to create manual jobs like this, but Cloudera will automatically handle the situation for us. Now, when it comes to copying the HBase data, we have concepts of peer and snapshots. Okay, so in HBase shell, we define peers. Peer is nothing but the destination cluster. So peer means the destination cluster, or if you want to copy to more than one cluster, so you can set up more peers as well. And snapshot, it's like a point in time picture of the current data and metadata. Okay, so we can create snapshots within the HBase about of a particular namespace or table, and then we can use the peers concept to connect to the peer and copy that snapshot over there, and then we can recover the data from that snapshot. Okay. I won't go much deep, but just to give you an idea how we copy data from one location to other when it comes to the HDFS and when it comes to HBase. Okay, now, so this was about copying to different cluster. Let's talk about when we want to backup it in the same cluster. Okay, so this is a situation, disaster recovery is a situation when my complete site one or Hadoop production cluster is down, and I want my users to shift to a different location. So mostly, there is a switch. So if my client, this is my client, he doesn't know. So when my client is trying to query a one cluster, but I have something like this. Okay, so this client will be talking to a switch in between. This switch will be talking to two environments. So it will be talking to two environments, production cluster, and right here I have disaster recovery cluster. So when my client is trying to query the HDFS data, or let's say some HBase table, it doesn't knows that at backend which environment is up. So let's say if this cluster was in location 1, but some disaster happened in location 1, so I will immediately switch this off to location 2, or the disaster recovery cluster, which is identical. Okay, so the client will keep on getting smooth results, but at backend, what as an admin we have configured is two different locations, two different sites, and just a switch that will toggle between each of them depending upon which location is down and which is not. But by default, it will always go to production. Okay. Now this was about disaster recovery. Let's say within a cluster itself, I want to back up my data. I want to back up, or let's say I want to back up certain critical data components. Okay, so there is some options which Hadoop provide us. For HBase, it will remain the same, the snapshot. Okay, so we can create snapshots in HBase, and we can also create snapshots in HDFS. Okay, there are simpler commands. So let's say I want to, so my critical location, this user Hive warehouse is a very critical location for me, because when we discussed about Hive, we talked that there are two kind of tables. One is internal and one is external. For internal tables, by default, the location is always user Hive warehouse. And if by mistake somebody deletes an internal table, there is no way that we can recover this data back. Okay, so this such a situation for us is a very critical situation. We don't want to lose such a table, so we might configure it to create snapshots out of this location. Okay, so how do we create it? There are three commands that we use. First is we will list which all directories are snapshotable. So we have to allow the HDFS location to create snapshots. Okay, so ls snapshotable dir HDFS ls. This is the command which will tell me which all directories are configured to be snapshotable.
Mhm. So I have a question for you. So
Yes.
these commands, so we will all have to use these commands on the Linux. So are you going to show this, like, just to show us that you are putting those commands and copying this, the snapshotting stuff?
I need to start the cluster. That way,
Oh,
if
okay.
anybody, if you has
Well,
running, I
I
can show that.
yeah, you can use my one. You have my password and login name.
I think I might have deleted the password. So you just started your cluster. Okay, I will show you what you
Okay,
on your screen.
okay.
It's fine. Did you start your instances? Because I think I have your PEM, right? I can connect to it.
Yes, I started but you need the public IP address,
I
right?
need public IPs.
Yeah. I send you my private, the public
Yeah.
IP. Yeah. ESA, right?
Yes, I think. Okay, let's try with this first.
Okay.
This is the Cloudera Manager IP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, you need to change your security group also. I'm giving you a IP address. Allow that.
Okay.
You can share your,
Yes, I did.
and this is the IP I want. Okay, let me take control.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, just copy this IP.
This one? Yeah.
The one I pinged you. Yes.
Yes. And I have to put it here.
You have to put, no, not here. First, you will have to, okay. You will have to click on this. Okay. Then actions, edit inbound rules.
Okay. Let me just edit inbound rules.
So now you see Sahil.
I can see Sahil.
Yes. So in the option, in the block just left to it, you have to place this IP that you copied. No, not this one. The one you copied from the one I gave you. Just place it.
Yes.
Just paste it over.
Here.
Not here. Where you
Over.
see Sahil.
Not
The left box to the Sahil.
here.
Here, yes. Just paste it.
Okay.
Yeah. Now save. Save rule.
Save rule. Oh, control F.
No.
No.
Cancel. Save rule at the
Yeah.
bottom. See save.
I
That is
didn't
fine.
see that.
It's been added. Just save this rule.
Yeah.
Bottom right.
But okay. You mean the add rule?
No. Bottom right. Let me take control.
Yeah.
Here.
Why I cannot see that? Oh, okay. Because of that. Because of the GoToMeeting tab was there. Okay.
I think.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. This is fine. I have your IP. Let me try if I am able to connect.
Mhm. So are you in the MobiX term now?
Yes, I'm trying to connect from my side. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm able to connect. Okay.
okay.
I will.
Because I can.
Yeah,
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 I'm
I'll
not
take
able.
back my presenter role
Okay. Okay.
and share.
Right.
Okay. You can see my screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's first check the status of HDFS.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see all three data nodes.
Right.
Everything is fine. Okay. So also let's check what exactly is there in user Hive. So I will try and snapshot this directory only. If you would have created some database, okay, you created this Hadoop B9 database, right? And
Mm.
Hadoop B9 DB. Not sure if you created some tables. Okay, you didn't create any table, but yes, this database is there and this table outside of it is there. That is fine. Now
Okay.
let's check whether by default this directory is snapshot table or not. Okay, so the first command is this. This will list all the directories which are snapshot table.
Mhm.
So right now there is no directory which is by default snapshot table. So the reason that we need to allow it to snapshot is that because otherwise we cannot snapshot. So let me try and snapshot this directory. Okay, I think I didn't mention the command to snapshot.
So from Hive, we learned how to do the table on the Hive. So we also have to do, like, I think I need to show you how to do how to create the tables on the Hive. I think I will next class, I will show you that.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like, my question is like, I think in job, we do not have to prepare actually the cluster or data nodes. They will be there. We just have to work on it,
Yes, so
right?
so in between you might get such requirements, but that is not the primary
Right,
requirement. Mostly, companies have already set up the clusters. Everything is already in place. So your responsibility will be to take care of it and to manage it and to administer it on day-to-day basis. But yes, some days you might get some new nodes that needs to be added.
right,
So over there, or these all concepts, the initial concepts that we discussed, right, when we were creating the cluster,
right,
that will come into.
right. So basically, we will work on HDFS, Yarn, Hive,
Yes, yes.
HBase, all these, like
All those
the
components.
structure for it,
Yes,
all
yes,
those components on between, like within the ecosystem, like the Hadoop ecosystem.
exactly.
Yeah, because I didn't create the, like, I saw the lectures you have given on Hive.
Mhm.
I don't know how to, like, I know how to. You told me how to create the table, but I didn't do it. But I have to.
Yeah,
But
it's just for practice.
even
So table
yes,
creation mostly won't be your responsibility. It's a developer's responsibility. But only when you create it, then only you can troubleshoot about it, right? You can see
right,
what exactly is there inside it. So we are mostly concerned with what exactly is about, like what is the metadata of that table, what exactly are the components within that table. So that would be
mm-hmm.
required for us when we troubleshoot in it.
Mm.
Okay, so right now, my user Hive warehouse is not allowed. It's not coming in the list snapshot. So what happens if I try to create a snapshot of it? Okay. So I will try to create snapshot of this directory, and let's call it the default name. So it says directory is not a snapshotable directory because we haven't allowed it yet. So that's why we first need to allow our directory to be snapshotable. So HDFS DFS admin allows snapshot.
Okay.
It says allowing. Now if I list it,
Mm-hmm.
it is coming in the list snapshotable directory. So now I will create a snapshot, and as soon as I create a snapshot of this directory, all this data will be copied into a hidden directory called .snapshot. Let me
Mm-hmm.
create it and I'll show you.
Okay.
Okay, so it says
But go ahead.
created snapshot. The directory location is same, but there is a hidden file within it, hidden location within it, and this is the snapshot name that got created. So all these contents that you see in user Hive warehouse, okay, so simple ls won't show this directory. You
Mm-hmm.
can see when I do ls over this directory, only two things are coming up. One is employee, other one is database. But actually there is a hidden file that got created out of the snapshot, and if I just do an ls over it now, so the same employee table and the same database is now present in the snapshot directory as well.
So you created that snapshot in
Mhm.
Hive warehouse,
Yes,
but you can do that in different warehouse
yes, yes.
or only in
Any
Hive.
directory, any.
Yeah,
So
right.
if you create
You
your
can
own
do that in, right.
yeah, you can do it at any directory within HDFS.
Okay.
So it depends. So I took this example because this is a critical
Okay.
directory for me,
Hmm.
right? So if you only delete this table, there is no way you can recover the data because it's an internal table, and once the data is lost, there is no way to recover it. But if I create an overhead of snapshot, I can
Hmm.
still recover the data back. Okay, so that's why I chose user Hive warehouse. But yes, any directory within HDFS is eligible to be snapshotable. Okay, now the reason for why we created it. Let's say now I delete all the contents of user Hive warehouse. RM is for removing.
Okay.
So it says it has been moved to trash. So this is also a concept. Okay, every time you delete something from HDFS, first of all, it is moved to trash. Okay, first of all, this get removed to trash. You can still recover data back from trash. There is a folder called trash. If I do ls over it, but this will stay only for 1 day or the time period that you have defined. So this is my trash folder in user HDFS. Folder name is .trash. Just like how we have on our desktop. So something is present in trash current folder. So all these tables that got deleted are first place in there. But somehow we can surpass it also. So let's say if I've deleted even this thing, the trash folder itself I deleted. Okay. So now I have no way to recover these tables back if I would have not snapshotted it. Okay. So there is nothing present in user Hive warehouse and not even in the trash folder.
But you did snapshotted it.
Yes, I did. So that is the reason. Okay. So I'm just giving you an example. Okay. So somehow,
Yeah.
if such a situation happen, this is a major data loss.
Okay.
Okay. Because in user Hive warehouse, I might have my internal table of my companies. And
Hmm.
if somebody deletes it, let's say an employee who is serving notice period deleted it just out of revenge or something. Okay. So there is no way the already existing admins can recover it. So that's where the snapshot is helpful because first thing, we cannot delete the snapshot folder. It's not allowed. And next thing, I can still recover these two tables back. So what I'll simply do is I will just copy all the contents of this snapshot into my. So I will put a star because I want to copy everything. Star means everything in this folder, and I will copy it into this location. Now if I do ls, I have got my data back. Okay, so this is a backup process that we do for internal backups, and I think Cloudra also has a by default uh, service present where you can set it up. There is no need to manually run this command every time. You can schedule those backups at a regular interval so that every time when something new gets created within user Hive warehouse, it gets backed up to the snapshot folder as well. And you can do this for any critical directory within your environment. And similarly, there is a backup option with HBase also. Okay, I have referred this document, Apache document, for your snapshots. Let me open HBase. Okay, I think this is a good document. Yeah. So first of all, we need to configure it. We have to enable this property. You can search this property in your configurations, Isa. Let's
Mhm.
just take a look if it's enabled or not. Okay, if it's enabled, I might be able to create a snapshot. So I can try that. Then you can create a snapshot, simple command, whichever table you want to snapshot. So let's say what all tables are there first of all. Let's say I want to snapshot a very critical table which is in HBase namespace, which is called meta. Okay, this meta table I want to snapshot.
Mhm.
So I will simply type snapshot followed by the table name followed by the snapshot name. Let me call it meta snap. Oh, sorry, I did not put a comma.
HBase has a meta table called meta.
Yes, HBase has so this HBase namespace. This is default, and it has two tables called meta and namespace. So within
Right.
these two tables, it's managing all the metadata related to the HBase.
Mhm.
So these are critical table for me. I don't want anybody to be deleting those. Okay, so that's why I'm creating a snapshot for it in HBase. So HBase will have its own command called snapshot. Okay, okay,
Why not allowed?
yeah, it's not allowed. I think it's by default not allowed. System tables snapshots are not allowed.
Hmm.
Okay, let me try it for some other table. Maybe it's acting up because it's not enabled.
So how about namespace? You cannot take the
No, no, it's
snapshot
also
of
a
names.
system table. So these two are system
Okay.
tables. These are by default
Hmm.
created by systems. So maybe there is no, we cannot delete these also. That's why it's not allowed to create snapshot. Maybe it's not allowed to even delete these two. Okay, let me first try by snapshotting some other. Okay, I will do it for B9. B9 has,
Employee and test.
yeah, this is working fine. So
Okay.
by default, system table snapshots are not allowed. Maybe that's because I cannot drop it. So let me just try and drop it. If it doesn't work, that means that's the reason we are not allowed to even snapshot it. So I will try and drop HBase namespace. Yeah. Okay. I think I can. So before dropping, we need to disable a table. Try and drop it now. Okay, somehow it's working, but it wasn't allowed to. What about meta? Although this might mess up our HBase. Yeah, cannot disable catalog table. Okay, so only for HBase meta, I think it's not allowed to either drop it. So we are not allowed to disable it. We are not either allowed to create a snapshot. That's why even if we are not able to create a snapshot, it will work fine. But for namespace, I think I deleted it, and there was no snapshot also. Maybe HBase will recover it back by itself. Let's see if it's there or not. No, that table is lost. Not sure how HBase will recover it, but yes, we need to find a way through which we can, although we didn't try to snapshot it. So maybe you can try to snapshot it in some other cluster, or if that table doesn't come up, okay, you can try deleting HBase and adding it up. But yes, those two are your system tables, which are very important. Meta is not allowed to even snapshot, neither it's allowed to be deleted. But with namespace, it got deleted. Not sure how it will recover back. I will try it on my cluster also, and let's see if it's getting recovered or not. Okay, but yes, talking about snapshots point here, I created a snapshot for the B9 employee table with the name employee snap. I can list the snapshot. So I have this snapshot name. This is my table name, and I can recover from the snapshot also. I think this will tell me how to recover. For your reference, this is for HDFS.
What is the number of this HBase main? The number I am looking at.
Which number?
You go to your mobile store. Let me show you the HBase main :012. What are these numbers means?
Where do you see it? This number?
Yeah.
Not sure, man. I think it's
What are these
version.
numbers?
It should be version.
Oh, okay. Because if you go down,
Mhm.
like, you'll see the numbers are changing all the time. Like,
Version is different. Okay,
oh, okay.
okay, right. Good observation. So 001, 002, right?
Right, right.
Okay, so that means the command that we have run so far. So this is the first command I
Okay,
ran. So it was 001.
because
Yes,
because we open up and then we went to HDFS and then we get into the HBase shell. And
yeah. This
now
is
the
usable.
commands you are running, right?
This
Then
is
now the commands you are running, these are all within the HBase shell.
exactly. So the
Right.
first command I ran, it was 001 namespace,
Yeah.
then
Mhm.
002. This is the next command which ran fine. Similarly. So now we are running the 16th command.
Right.
Okay, I was trying to show you. First of all, let me just note it down. Okay, now how to recover from a snapshot.
Mhm.
List we have done, delete we have done, clone a table. Either we can clone it or we can restore it. So if you want to copy a table, let's say somebody says, how will you copy an HBase table to a new HBase table but with similar data? So for that also we can do using snapshot. So I already have a snapshot created. I can just run this command followed by my snapshot name, followed by the new table I want to create. So I will create another table, B9 employee
Right.
copy. Oh, again I missed the comma.
Did you miss any comma? Oh, okay, yeah.
So now it has created another copy of the same table. Okay. And if I just list it, so I have this copy table also created. This was about copy. Let's say if I delete this table, how do I recover? So let me delete both of them. Before for deleting any table, you must disable it.
Mhm.
And now I will drop both of them.
Why?
I'm trying to delete both of them. Probably that's the reason. Let me try one by one.
Mhm.
So now both are deleted if I just do ls. Only test table is present. Okay, in such a situation, I can still recover my table using the same snapshot. So instead of cloning, now I will recover it. Command should be, I think, recover underscore snapshot. Yeah, restore snapshot. So restore snapshot. It will create whatever table is present with the same name in the snapshot that I created.
Like B9 employee or B9 employee copy.
Yes, exactly. No, not copy. Being an employee.
The B9 employee.
Yes.
The B9 employee copy is like you are copying the B9 employee.
Yes, I copied the I cloned the snapshot and created this table. But actually, what is the table present? B9 employee is present in this snapshot. So when I restore it, it just restores that back, not the copy.
Okay.
Okay, so now if I do ls, table is recovered. So that's how snapshots can be used to recover and back up your table. And the same snapshot will be used when you're copying it to a different host. So for that case, we need peers. Currently, there should be no peer configured, but yes, what is a peer? It's a different cluster endpoint. So we can define which other cluster I want to connect to and copy this snapshot. We will copy the snapshot to that cluster, and over there we will restore the snapshot to get the table back. Okay, so that's how you copy to different cluster also using the same concept of snapshot. Okay, so this is for HBase. Now Hive, it's similar to your HBase backup only. So for Hive backup, what you will do is the snapshot, the HDFS snapshot of the Hive table location. So wherever Hive is storing its data, we will take a snapshot of that location, just like how we did for user Hive warehouse. If it's an external table, you will create a snapshot of the location of external table. And let's say if that table gets deleted somehow, you will recover. So this will be step one. Step two will be to recover from the HDFS in the situation of table deletion, recover the data from snapshot. Okay. So once we recover it, we will create the table again. Okay, what if the metadata is lost? How will we recover that?
Restore. that's how you're going to recover that, right?
No, no, no. Okay, so this is tricky. Okay, so the reason that I'm saying is, let's say I don't know the table command again. Whatever table that we created, I don't know its metadata. So how will we recover it?
Mhm.
Little advanced. I think we need to take a complete dump of the Hive metastore. So this is a tricky step. Okay, these two things I will leave to you. You also research it. I will also research it. Okay,
Okay.
number one is taking Hive table backup, and number two is how to backup the HBase namespace system table. Okay. This system table we were able to delete it, so I need to know how can we backup it. I didn't try it backupping it the same way we did for other table, employee table. So you can try that also. Maybe that will work. Okay, but I'll try these two things first. Okay, so
Okay.
this is like broadly for backups, because these three are the major databases within Hadoop where we are storing data and corresponding metadata. Spark is just using the data over HDFS only, so no need. There is no need for backing anything up in Spark. Same as with Impala, it's similar to your Hive backup, so nothing over there. Okay, let's quickly talk about security. How we will secure our cluster environment. Okay, from so okay, there are three concepts for security. One is authentication, then authorization, and at last encryption. Okay, as the name suggests, authentication is where you are authenticating the users, the servers who are allowed to access certain components within your cluster. So who can access the cluster and its corresponding services, data, tables, files, etc. Authentication. Okay, so for that we use Kerberos along with Active Directory, or we call it LDAP. Okay, Active Directory or LDAP, this thing stores the user information, username, user ID, all those information is present in Active Directory. And this is a common, like whenever you join a company, you will get a user ID created, right? Any organization. So that user ID is actually storing your information within this Active Directory. And along with that, we have Kerberos, which is over AD. So these two will interact and authenticate any user who is allowed to access our cluster. Next is authorization. So within a cluster also, only some people might be allowed to access certain directory. So let's say if you are my user, I will only allow you to access your own directories within HDFS or the tables that you created within Hive, and you are not allowed to access somebody else tables. Okay, so that means authorization. I am authorizing you who is already authenticated. Now I'm authorizing you what exactly you can access. Okay, so for that in Cloudera environment we have Sentry, and that also interacts along with Kerberos only. So it uses Kerberos at the back end. Sentry is for CDH, And if you are doing something with HDP, then we have Ranger. So if to show you, okay. So right now I don't have Sentry, nor neither I have Kerberos. So you can enable Kerberos simply. One second. Yeah, enable Kerberos.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot enable it right now because I need an external AD. As I told you, an Active Directory should be set up. Okay. So it says set up a working KDC also means find Active Directory. This is step one. Then it should be configured to have something like this. Okay, so all these things. But yes, the ultimate thing is AD. I need this to be configured on a separate server. I will not be doing it, but, and this is also not our responsibility to create this. Okay, so creating is not our
Active Directory.
responsibility. Yes, Active Directory. But
Okay.
yes, it's already there in every organization already has an AD present. So we will ask them for their endpoints, and the only thing we require is, so let me show you in the next step. Let's say I've done
Yeah.
all of this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and in the next step I will have to tell the
Active.
endpoint, yeah, which Active Directory, what is the server. So let's say I will talk to my AD team. They say, okay, your AD is present on this server, Active Directory.com, or some server IP address they give me. Let's say
Yeah. Whatever the address is,
whatever the address
like
is.
their
Yes, they are going to
their
give me.
personal stuff. Okay.
Yes, exactly. And once they give me, and also which user should I use. So, okay, so one is a server host, then we also have an admin host. Mostly these two are the same.
Mm.
Then there would be a domain, let's say Hadoop.com. Whatever it's, these all information they will provide us. Our AD team will provide us. We will just place it in here. It will, my cluster will try to connect to it, and it will enable Kerberos. Okay, so you can go through this wizard once you have that. I will. This is just for your like introduction how you will do it. Mostly you will find it's already enabled. But yes, if somebody says you, these are the steps. How will you enable Kerberos? Now, for
Mm-hmm.
now, I'm just going to add Sentry for security. Okay. Sentry is for authorization. For Kerberos was for authentication.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sentry also needs a backend database. Right now, we are using the internal database only. Okay, so now I have Sentry, and I can. The easiest way to manage permissions for tables in location is by using Hue for it. So I will enable in Hue. I will enable to use Sentry. Yeah, Sentry service. I will just enable it. We'll ask for a restart. Okay, so I can manage now my permissions of the tables directly from Hue. How will you do that? I'll show you.
Okay.
Security. So in here we can give privileges. Okay, so no, it's not giving me option to add. So nobody has a permission right now. That's why I will give it to default for HDFS. I will also give this permission to HDFS. Now I can add, I think. Okay, somehow it's not giving me
Yeah.
the option to add a role. The file ACL, I think it's giving me the option. Read. So this is how you can give the permissions directly, which path is allowed by which use for either group or user, and save it. Okay. We need to change this property in HDFS and enable it to true. Okay, just try and explore it yourself
Mhm.
in clusters. Whatever it's asking for, whatever fails, just change that property. But try to manage security directly from you. This is the easiest way how you can authorize uh, people to give access over Hive tables and file ACLs
Okay.
using Sentry. Okay. So at the back end, the security is using Sentry, the one we enabled in the cluster, right in here. Okay, so this is all for security. For Kerberos, I have given some references to read. So mostly this will tell you how Kerberos work at the back end. Okay, I won't go much deep into it, but yes, you can refer these documents. This is like an architecture for Kerberos. So we basically have authentication service and a ticket granting service. Authentication service will contact the AD or the Active Directory and get the user information. Once it has it, it will create something called as a ticket. And this ticket is given back to the user who will use this ticket to interact with any service within the Hadoop. Okay. I
Mhm.
will You can read about it from these. I will just tell you what all commands are useful when you already have a Kerberos, because mostly when you will join, the Kerberos is already enabled. So what all commands can you use? First command is kinit. So let's say I already have a Kerberos enabled environment, okay, and I want to run this command HDFS DFS ls. So that won't run easily or simply by typing the way we were doing earlier. I already have a HBase, Kerberos enabled environment. If it wasn't enabled, this would have run easily. Okay, the way it's running right now. But if Kerberos is enabled, this will fail. It won't give me this result. So to run this command in a Kerberos enabled environment, I need to first get this ticket. And how do we get this ticket? By running kinit. So let's say I want to run this command right now. I will do kinit followed by the username. So let's say I want to run it for me. Right now there is no K in it, so it will not run. Command is not found because we don't have Kerberos enabled. But as soon as I will run this command, it will ask me for a password like this, which is my Active Directory password or whatever password I use to log in into my company portal or whatever. Okay. So I will enter that password. As soon as I enter it, I will have a ticket. Once I have the ticket, I can check that using klist. Klist command will tell me what is my ticket. Right now, it's not in here. Okay, you can check the ticket availability or the validity by klist, and if everything appears fine, the ticket is valid, then I can run this
Mhm.
command and it will run fine. Okay, so this is it's a 2-3 step approach in a Kerberos enabled environment, and that is because of security. If Sahil is an authenticated user, it's present in AD, then only it will be able to key in it, and then only it will be able to run HDFS. Any other external user or hacker cannot run this command until unless he has a ticket from me, from my Active Directory. Okay, and there is some steps through which you can create So right now we are running something directly from command like this, right? Knet. I can also get this already stored in a file, and those files are called key tag file like this. Okay, so whatever credential which has not just the principal name but also the password associated. Principal name is a concept of Kerberos. Okay, so all of those information I can store it within a file which is encrypted. This is an encrypted file, and I can directly use this file instead of doing knet every time. Okay, so to create that file, we have to enter something called as kadmin. So simply by running kadmin, not work right now. You will enter a console or a shell like HBase shell or any other shell that you find through. Okay, it will open up a shell, and over there I can create a key tab like this, and then I can simply use that key tab to authenticate myself or to get a ticket. Okay, again, it's a pretty vast topic when it comes to enabling it, and it's beyond the scope right now. But yes, you can explore it from certain documents I've given. Okay, and but yes, for understanding for interviews, you should know the process. The practical concept is these commands that I discussed above, and the architecture is over.
Okay.
Okay, the last topic is SSL. A little topic, yes, it's important for security. So far we have been talking about these pillars: authentication and authorization, right? But there is something called encryption or in-flight encryption. That means when data is traveling over the network, some hacker can ingest into our network and extract the data out of it. Okay. So to prevent that, we use something called SSL or a secure socket layer. These days, it's also called as TLS. Okay. And this is done by using some encrypted certificates or keys. So what does it mean? So let's say this is my network
Mhm.
over which data will transfer. This is These are the three clients. So I want to transfer data from client A to client B. But this client C is my hacker in between. So if this data is not encrypted, this hacker can ingest into my network and extract the data which client B was about to read. This can be anything. It can be any encrypted information. Let's say somebody is doing a banking transaction. B is my bank, A is my user. Okay, so the hacker can ingest into the data and get all the details about that user. How do you prevent such a situation? So for that, we will use encryption using SSL. SSL in itself using something called as certificates. So what it will do is client A will have some certificates and client B will have some certificates. Okay. The data, whatever data is, let's say this is my data, bank account information. Okay. Then let's say some password, password I'm using to do my banking transaction or internet banking. So this information is being transferred over the network to bank, right? Now I will use SSL to encrypt it. So SSL, what it will do is SSL certificates are present on both the ends of client and server. So now this certificates, what it will do is it will encrypt this data. So now this bank amount information which is traveling over the network will look something like this. Similarly will be the password, something like whatever encryption methodology is being used. Okay, this information is getting transferred over the network. So even if somebody hacks it, this is not the actual information. Now the same certificate will be used at the other end to decrypt. So right now I'm saying encryption here, but yeah, it can be encryption here also and decryption here also. Okay, so whoever has this certificate can only encrypt and decrypt this data which traveled over the network and reached. Anybody else in between cannot access this actual information. Okay, so this is a process called SSL. It's also a pretty vast. There is something called so this certificates creation. It's a step in itself. We use commands like OpenSSL or key stores. You can search about these commands. But for as an admin, we just need to enable it. We will get these certificates already created, but we will just have to enable it. So let's say if I want to enable SSL in HDFS, I just need to provide the location of certificates. Yes, SSL client and SSL server. I will have to provide the location uh, of where the certificates are present, and the service will use those certificates to create an encryption of data. There is also some inherent HDFS encryption. If you want to store the data which is already present in HDFS and encrypt it, we have an option in HDFS. So if you want to encrypt within data nodes and clients, you can enable it from here. And I'm looking for SSL can be enabled using this property. I think these two are the options available. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to enable SSL, you have to enable this property. If you want to enable encryption even within the HDFS environment, when data is being transferred or read or read from HDFS to the clients over wire, you can enable this property. Okay, so I think that's all for security and backup. The important stuff I have discussed, but yes, there is still some scope to read about it, and you should always do that whenever you get time. Okay, but for your environments and organization, these commands would be enough to work around.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all. So with this we have completed all the theoretical and practical stuff about Hadoop. Now, in the following class, I will focus only on the troubleshooting as well as your Linux and some support if you need. Okay.
Okay.
So next week we will have sessions about troubleshooting. How can you troubleshoot? What are the best practices when you want to troubleshoot? And also we will discuss something advanced Linux concepts. And post next week, we will start with our uh, mock tests and interview preparations.
Next week or following week you're talking about?
Next to next week. Next week will be about troubleshooting.
Okay,
And
following week we will
yes,
start doing the exams and stuff. Okay.
yes, some revision and some troubleshooting we will cover up in next week, and post that it's all about mock interviews and some more tests. So the test that I took earlier, that was not full
Mhm.
curriculum. I will also
Yeah,
create full curriculum test which you can give. Okay.
sure. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for joining. Good night.
No problem. Okay. Thank you. Good night. Mhm.